Last panel of the event, so thanks for hanging around. This will end around 3:30, so you can head to the courts. My name is Renato Paiva. I'm the CEO of Access Youth Academy in San Diego. We have Kevin, William, and SJ. We are basically talking about the lessons learned in the future of what we're doing. This will be about 15 minutes of them speaking, and then open for questions. Sounds like a good plan?
Yeah.
Let's do it. Okay, let's start with Kevin. Kevin, what areas of squash do you see are the most, you're looking forward to work the most now, especially on the news of the Olympics? What are you looking forward to work with?
You want me to start, Kevin?
Yeah, go ahead.
How about you, William?
No,
Where
that's
we go?
You sure?
Yeah.
Yes, my name is William, and thank you very much for giving the floor to the Frenchy guy after giving so many opportunities for our good friends from Germany to speak. I think it makes sense. So I'm going to be the last one. I'm the CEO of the World Squash Federation, and my main, daily job is to serve 115 member nations, and I'm glad to see some of you around with Kevin next to me. And I'm going to try to give a different perspective to what we've been discussing for the last two days. First of all, it's been a great success. That means there is a massive opportunity for the squash community to be together, to work together. I think for many years we've been working in isolation. Lots of great ideas in different parts of the world, but we were not able to share together. And this summit is a great example of what we need to achieve, working collaboratively. Because right now we have a unique opportunity, the Olympic Games, but we have 4 years to tap into what does it mean for us as a sport. And we can only achieve that if we work collaboratively. That means sharing best practices, strengthening our relationships at all levels. Because all of you are part of the ecosystem that Zina introduced you about yesterday morning. Everybody play a role in the development and the growth of our sport, because this is the main objective of this summit, how to grow the sport in the future. We've seen some great presentations, including the last one, and about new technology, digital, etc. But we need to put that all together into a plan, because we have 4 years to ensure that squash is going to be on the forefront of everything. However, we need to consider the global world. We're talking about, yes, in UK, the daily news, they don't want to speak about sport, about squash. But if you look at what Diego has achieved, it was the main news in Peru. Then Indian team and Sora won gold medal for the Commonwealth Games, Asian Games. The Prime Minister of India, he tweeted about it. 81 million followers. Malaysia, with the recent success of Siva, she now has a new endorsement with the National Bank of Malaysia. So the global world is moving, and squash is a very thriving sport in different parts of the world. How can we use that in our mature market? Coming from France, we're in UK, and Kevin is going to speak about the US. We spoke already about the US. We need to look up to what's going on in different parts of the world. We need to look and tap into the potential of AI, of digital technology, of esports, and we're working on that already. WSF, PSA, and different organizations, because as Ina explained yesterday, WSF is working with different constituencies, from the IOC, from different sport organizations, Commonwealth, World Games, Master Games, and also other sports, also other sponsors, because right now, for the last 6 months, we have seen a massive interest behind our sport. But we need to kind of transfer this interest into something concrete for our sport. After Paris, that means in the next 2 or 3 months, we're going to be under scrutiny, for sure. Our sport's going to be seen and exposed to millions of people. Are we at the standard that we want to? That means, are we at the Olympic standard? In everything we do on a daily basis, are we proud? Can we do better? Just 10%. Think about that. Because in 4 years' time, we're going to be on the Olympic stage. Not only competing with squash, but 35 other sports. 2 billion people are going to watch TV, and billions are going to be on social media. Why they will decide to choose squash? I took the example about LeBron James. I'm the agent of LeBron James on the 14th of July 2028. I have 3 tickets, one to see squash, one to see basketball, one to see aquatics. Why I will decide to choose squash? This is what we have to build for the next 4 years, to ensure that it's going to be a massive success. But we can achieve that only if we work together. And what we have seen for the last 2 days is amazing. It's very positive. The passion that Rob explained is great, but we need to transcend that and to push that for our best players to be on the Olympic stage. And because everything we do is to ensure that we have the best players on the best stage. We've been dreaming about that, but now we need to ensure that we can work collaboratively to achieve that. So I think this is one of my main takeaways, to give some kind of time to, for Kevin to reflect on that. Just to be very positive, but we need also to ensure that we are aware about the responsibilities we have for our sports. We are so pleased to be in the Olympic Games, great. What we're going to do to ensure that we're going to meet the standards of the Olympic Games. And then we're going to be in LA in 28. Everybody's going to be in LA in 28. We're going to buy tickets, it's going to be crazy. But we want to be proud of what we're going to be able to achieve, and we're going to be proud of the athletes competing and showcasing the best spectacle of the Games. Back to you, Kevin.
Yeah, I've got a microphone.
Sorry.
Well, I'll take it. All right, there we go. Double amplified. Thank you, William, for buying me some time. It wasn't the question I was
Always a pleasure.
expecting, Renato. Whenever I go to other board meetings and I'm not sort of in charge or leading some of them, I'm always evaluating sort of, is this a good use of time? Is this helpful to me? How can I improve what I'm doing in our meetings to make it more helpful and valuable to the people who are involved in serving in whatever board it is. And so similarly, obviously here, has this been a good use of time? We've all been to a lot of conferences, and I think we can all agree, or at least my opinion is, it's been a great use of time over the last 2 days. There are not many squash conversations I have where I learned something new, having been in this role for 20 years at US Squash, but there are a lot of new, fresh ideas coming here. And I would just, beginning with the end in mind, for LA, I would just say, being the host country, I think people can have a lot of confidence in that it will be a great hosting of squash. As I mentioned yesterday, WSF is really on top of it in terms of their relationships, a huge collaboration obviously with the PSA, and I think on the ground we all have excellent relationships with the LA organizing committee. So I think people can be really optimistic about what that will look like, and the question that you asked really, Renato, is sort of what to do between now and then to get the most out of it. And I would say don't panic, and let's keep it simple. We could talk a lot about technology and innovations, etc., but the communication, the coordination, the cooperation is important. So I was around a table this morning at breakfast having coffee, and Renato was there, Rick was there from Outdoor Squash, and Arnie was there. And so they're like, hold on, this is the whole chain. This is communication, coordination, collaboration. Rick innovated. He had this idea, and he said, I'm going to go do it. I'm going to build this outdoor court. He solved that problem. Arnie's like, I'm going to get an outdoor court put up in a park in Chicago, leveraging the PSA Foundation's support. US Squash is supporting that, but also going to acquire 2 more courts, and we're going to put it up in a school with 6 schools in Los Angeles, where Renato's doing summer programming, phys ed programming, and then also ongoing after-school programming. So that's the whole chain of command. You have an innovator, you have an advocate in Arnie. We're essentially facilitators, funding and organizing, and you have the implementer here. And so when you can connect those dots in any meaningful way, and every country is different, let's do it. So I would say each of these federations and organizations have a role to play. As I've said yesterday, we all should stay in our lane and play to our strengths, but we all need to work together. But each of you, all of us really can, I wouldn't wait around for direction, just kind of, you have ideas, obviously a ton of innovation and recycling, a lot of passion, a lot of capability here. So I wouldn't wait from a clear goal coming from on high either.
Thank you. SJ, on the pro circuit, we'd love to hear from you what you're thinking about the current state of the circuit for you, and as well as how you're thinking now on the Olympic cycle. The first time ever we can say this, so 4 years to go. How do the pros think what's happening right now?
Thanks for having me, everybody. I think for the players, it's been huge leap. We've come on leaps and bounds since I started playing on the tour. The tour's grown massively, and ironically, with the Olympic inclusion obviously on the horizon, it's the Olympic non-inclusion that's actually seems to have forced the hand of the tour really to put its best foot forward and improve and grow for the players, so that we can have the best players playing the sport, because without the Olympics, a lot of the countries don't get the same levels of funding through the national governing bodies and things. So the PSA has really had to drive the prize money forward to ensure that the best players in the world can make a good living off playing, and that's a draw. And I was just, sat here listening to these guys as well, and the great things that have clearly gone on the last couple of days, and it's fantastic to hear. And I was trying to really think about the player's perspective, and I honestly think, if you look at some other sports, football, the biggest sport in the world, you take that for example, how many young kids dream of being their hero and playing football, whether that's Messi, Ronaldo, or we've had much more exposure to the women's game over the last few years, so that might be Lucy Bronze, or if you're over from Ireland it might be Katie McCabe, whoever it is. Like, there's those role models to see, and they are visible, and I think that is a huge thing for sports and for kids in general. So the more proactive not only the players themselves are, but obviously the PSA, the WSF, everything at promoting and showcasing the incredible athletes that we have on our tour, and that and as well that we've had before, and we can showcase that also, can mean that those kids growing up go, right, well, I can be an Olympic athlete, and I can do it in this awesome sport as well, because I see all these clips of so-and-so online, and they're, it's amazing, and I'm going to the courts every day because I want to be like them. I want to succeed in squash like they do. So I think that exposure for the kids to be able to see what they could be is absolutely huge. So just to reiterate that, the tours come an absolutely huge way over the last sort of decade or so since I've been playing on it, and I think I wouldn't say I started playing because I was able to see things online. So you've got different routes in. I started playing because my dad played at the club, and then I just enjoyed it. So there's different routes to play, but I think with kids having more time on tablets and phones and things, that social media and everything like that is just absolutely crucial to getting them hooked on squash. And like William said, if you're vying for the attention of people watching it, you're also vying for the attention of the potential players of it. So you've got to keep the draws coming and making sure that they're fresh and relevant as well, and obviously increasing the prize money, and then that dangling carrot of the Olympic medals as well is huge. So hopefully we'll see an influx of investments into the NGBs, which then go down to more players being able to play professionally, and we see that influx coming through onto the tour, not only in numbers but also in the sort of competitiveness and standard as well. And 4 years is a long time, but also not a long time. So obviously it's not going to be 11-year-olds now that are going to be playing in LA, but hopefully they're 11 and then they get hooked, and then when they see LA, that's the nail in the coffin for them, that squash is their sport, and they're going to do whatever it takes to get to the top level and hopefully compete at future Olympic Games, should squash, fingers crossed, be included.
Yeah, it's obvious that the momentum is incredible for us now. We have a great chance ahead of us. We have the leaders here of WSF, US Squash, and in squash players. I want to just share with you that if there's any questions, we have about 10 minutes-ish. So if you guys want to ask any questions, have any comments before that?
just to build on what just Sarah Jane just said, and to go back also to Alicia, of course, gender representation is critically important. 51% of the population is female, period, that's it. So every time you think, does it work yet? Every time you think about, putting someone on your website, on social media channel, think about, is it a male or a female, and the way you portray this female is also very important. Because we had a webinar with the IOC a couple of days ago about, we kind of sexualize female the way, because we want to see them in a certain way, because our views and the lenses, the male lenses is not positive. That's not the best way to portray female, and to ensure that young kids, young girls, gonna look up to these girls and to these females and say, wow, this is what I want to do, this is what I want to achieve later on. So think about gender representation, because this is also the future of our sport. And a lot of the best matches we have seen for the last couple of months have been female matches. And this is incredible in our sport. And if you look outside of squash, the kind of the growth of female sport is amazing. Sponsors, TV, viewers, followers. This is something we need to tap in. And we have the potential because we have some of the best female athletes in the world. And it's going to make a huge difference in the next 3 years.
All right, questions, if you have any. Here we go.
It's me again. So one observation is Dove commercials. Have you seen those? Do you know
Yep.
Dove? Talk to them about women in sport. They'll tell you what to do.
It was an illustration of the IOC seminar about the Dove. We use that as an illustration to how to portray female, how to not to portray female, how to portray female. So, Dove is also Procter & Gamble, so it's a major IOC sponsor. So that means also after Paris 2024, we may receive a lot of some kind of request to kind of bring athletes in front of those sponsors because they're going to be interested in supporting squash going to the Olympic Games. So we need to be prepared also at all levels of our sport to respond to all media inquiries, sponsor interest, TV shows, and how we're going to respond to that. Who we're going to put in front of our sport.
Yeah, I'll just ask a question. So, earlier Rob Owen had a presentation, and some of the headlines up there were sort of very sort of gloom and doom type headlines, and they were primarily related to sort of England squash and what was happening in England. I guess, Michael, your headlines were great, right? So Siva is getting congratulated by the Prime Minister, Indian Prime Minister is tweeting about it. I think in the US we're getting good coverage also. So how can we assure that what might be happening sort of locally here does not overtake the great sort of general sort of great news that's happening globally within squash as well?
Well, it's not an easy answer, but I think we work very collaboratively with PSA in terms of communication. So every time there is a great story, we try to publicize those stories on our social media channels. But I think also we need to kind of put a more focus on athletes, because athletes, they are the best ambassadors of our sports. And we need to also support and help our athletes how to deal with social media channels. Because just take you an example, I was speaking with Alex a couple of hours ago. Mbappe is a Real Madrid player. He earned more than 2 million followers on Instagram, just following his announcement. How can we tap into this potential? How can we use our players, help our players to be more visible on social media channels? We can help them, but for sure, but these are the best ambassadors. And every time there is something positive, Diego in Peru is a major star. It's a major star. He wants something unique. And we need to ensure that it's something that we can build on in other parts of the world. Diego is speaking Spanish. Los Angeles is the most, with Florida, I think, the massive Spanish states. How can we use this Spanish community to say, wow, Diego is coming, potentially. I'm just saying that because we have Carlos down here. But no, we have to use the diversity of our sports. Gender representation and also the diversity of our sport.
One more question there. Yeah.
I first would like to thank the organizers, PSA Foundation, PSA World Sports Federation, for for this gathering, and it was most valuable for me, and I'm also grateful to my federation that they provide me to participate. There is a task I already talked to William that I will ask, as I need as a feedback. Could you please just put us an outline or the structure of the qualification or the roadmap to LA regarding I know it will be more concrete in details after Paris, but could you comment on this?
Well, the only thing we can say, as you know, is that it's going to be a 32-32 competition format, and now we are starting to discuss with the IOC and with the LA28 regarding the qualifying structure, and it will be confirmed in around January, February 2026. We shouldn't think about squash separately. There are 35 other sports to consider, and the entire qualification process will be approved by the IOC Executive Board. So it's something that we don't control. Usually we know how to deal with our constituencies, but now we're discussing with the IOC and the Olympic Games Organizing Committee. It's a different environment we need to deal with. We are well prepared, working collaboratively with US Squash for LA28 and PSA also regarding the IOC, but nothing will be fully confirmed before the start of 2026.
All right, now we're going to go last remarks. Kevin, what would you like them to come home with?
Anyone says last remarks, you know it's not true. Someone else is going to ask a question. But I mean, I think that, as I said before, or perhaps the decline in squash here in England is sort of synonymous with the country. I'm just kidding. Just kidding.
Mark is somewhere in the room.
Just joking.
Where is Mark?
I joke. People don't know me, but I'm funny.
Yeah, we don't know you. You want to come back next year?
I would just say, let's not think we're unique as a sport in trying to grow or trying to expand beyond what we're doing. There are a lot of great examples of sports doing things right out there. And also, just in terms of the work that we do, let's look to partnerships. Whether that be schools, or we heard examples of going to mosques and engaging communities. We're all community organizers to a degree. We're all sort of coaches in the sense that we're trying to rally people and lead people towards something which we all believe is beneficial to them and society in general. So I think not overcomplicating and saying, hey, who else are we aligned with even outside of the squash world that we can bring together into this, I think is a good thing. And I was inspired by the Nicole David organization and the fact that they're bringing in women as interns and saying, look, coaching is sort of universal. You're effectively a teacher. We're going to teach you how to teach, how to manage a group of kids towards a goal. That's really all what it's all about. And all the stories that I heard here are about individuals just hanging a sign and saying, hey, come on, let's go do something. And then one thing leads to another, and then you've got something great like Squash Cubed and things like that. So I wouldn't wait around. We all sort of are empowered to do that, and then clearly advocate at the appropriate level. So advocate with your federation and say, hey, what is the marketing strategy for balls, the use of types of squash balls by level? Let's market that here collectively in our country. How are we going to do that? And then, Marcus earlier on the squash facilities talking about sort of how are we managing the sport. I think, federations can have a bad rap, WSF, PSA. We can all do more and we can all do better, clearly. However, we need to actively sort of manage this. It's hard work. And so everybody sort of coming together and supporting is super important. I think, again, Adriana, thank you for bringing us all together, and let's keep it going.
Yeah, you're not a really funny guy, Kevin. No, just a quick question, just to say back to what you said, Steve, about the right ball. Why don't we use our major tournaments, because we have very low age category, instead of playing double dots for U11 or U13 to use a different ball? I don't know, just a question. I'll leave it to you. I'm going to go back to what Matt put on the slide, I think, a couple of hours ago. We are the custodian of the sport. We collectively are responsible for the sport at every level. Grassroots, clubs, federations, international environment. So what can we do differently in the coming year? When you go back tomorrow to your club, to your federation, what can you do differently to ensure that we're going to be proud of what we're going to do in the next 3 to 4 years and have a phenomenal show in 4 years' time? We are the custodian of our sport. We are responsible. Everything is in our hands. And we have learned great stories today that we can learn from and we can use. But we are the custodian of our sport. It's our responsibility. Paddle, great. Pickleball, great. We are responsible. We know our sport. We are passionate. This is what Rob said. Passion. Passion drives us. And this is what also a key learning for me. I've seen passionate people for the last 2 days. And I'm pleased now to give the last word to Sarah Jane. Because this is what we do every day. We love to see the best athletes on the show courts. And this is why every morning we try to do something for the sport to ensure that you can shine.
That's great. So this group here is a very special group because they're leaders everywhere. So from your position, what would you like them to go on with?
I think from a player perspective, I think that 99% of the players share the passion that everyone in this room has and want to help. So they may not, say, have the bandwidth or the ideas, but there's so many people in this room and out of this room who've got ideas that can drive the sport forward and, you know, already have. We've got great examples in the room, and there's also some examples that show there's no barriers to the level that you play at, to have passion for a sport and to want to do something, can do something worthwhile with it. I mean, have you seen Michael play squash? Just joking, Michael. I think you are better at tennis. But no, but there's so much passion from everyone, and I see that at my local club. The people that volunteer on a Saturday morning for the juniors, still volunteering since I was there, and I think those are the people that we need to keep engaged in the sport, and the athletes can do their part as well. You know, most of them are more than happy to do something that is meaningful and gets kids particularly engaged, or they know is going to have a positive impact on their sport, because ultimately it only benefits them as well as getting more people playing. So, you know, reiterate everything that both William and Kevin have said, but just also I think the athletes, you know, I can put hand on heart and say they do care. The passion for the sport is not just for themselves and winning their matches, but actually for the sport as a whole and the general love of squash. And I've seen that much more clearly as well since you know the Olympic news has just really brought that to the forefront of everyone's attention. So yeah, thank you for having me, Adriana, and the you know the players are thrilled with obviously the Olympic inclusion, but also the growth of the sport and the passion that's coming from everyone in and out of this room.
Thank you. Adriana, nothing more fitting than for you to bring us home.
I think I'm gonna use this microphone just because I'm used to it. I'm really excited about this past 2 days. I hope there's only a few things that I wrote. I hope this has been impactful for all of you. I'm grateful that Kevin, you found your time worthwhile here and coming all this way, and I hope that everyone that came from so many countries and from different parts, we had people from Japan, Malaysia, Colombia, Germany, I mean, I hope that everyone found it worthwhile. And I just want to reiterate that we are stronger when we work together. We have seen it throughout this whole event with the SDOs, and we are stronger when we work together. So I want to encourage all of you to find ways to work together. I want to say that be confident, take risks, try it. We have learned just by taking risks in a lot of the partnerships that we have done, and they have been successful. The people that are here, you are the ones that love the sport. You are passionate. You have power. And I want to really encourage you to leave the summit and think about the few things that you could take away and how to implement them, and please reach out. Reach out, because we are here to help. All of us are here to help. That's all that we want. We all care about the sport. We want to grow it. We want to share how to do it. You all have a role to play, and I think if one person can start something, we can all rally behind it and we can find ways to work together. So I just want to thank all of you for being here. This was a dream. We achieved something great. So I hope you'll take something great from it and enjoy the squash this evening. Thank you.